and the cameras told the whole story. Rain hammered the gas station roof as Tyler snatched the ticket straight out of my hands. "Tyler! That's mine!" I shouted, slipping on the wet concrete. He didn't stop. He didn't hesitate. He just flashed me a smug half grin and sprinted toward his truck, my $2.4 million ticket clenched between his fingers like a trophy. For a second, I froze. My legs felt like concrete. My brain screamed at me to chase him, but my body wouldn't move. Then I saw it. The security camera above us blinked red, the little light pulsed like a heartbeat, my breath steadied. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. Tyler thought he'd won, but he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life. I watched his taillights disappear into the rain, and something cold settled in my chest. Not panic, not fear, something sharper, something patient. The ticket, the theft, the cameras. That's why my story is called My Cousin Stole My Lottery Ticket and the Cameras Told the Whole Story. My name is Hayley Pierce. I'm 29 years old and I work as an admin assistant at Harrow Manufacturing. I wish this betrayal shocked me. I wish I could say I never saw it coming. But if you knew Tyler, really knew him, you'd understand this was his final, predictable mistake. He'd been taking from me, for years, credit for my work, respect from my co-workers, even my dignity in small, cruel ways. But this time, he'd gone too far. This time, he'd stolen something worth millions. And this time, I had proof. Cold, digital, undeniable proof. Tyler always thought he was smarter than everyone else. He was about to learn how wrong he was. At work, Tyler strutted around like management had personally adopted him. Everyone laughed at his jokes. Everyone praised his so-called leadership. Meanwhile, I handled the grunt work he took credit for. He'd pat my shoulder in meetings and say, "You know how Hayley is, great support staff." Support staff, like I was furniture. Like I was lucky to stand in his shadow. He made sure everyone saw me as his assistant, never his equal. The other employees ate it up. They saw his charm, his confidence, his easy smile. They didn't see what happened behind closed doors. They didn't see him delete my name from reports. They didn't see him interrupt me in meetings, then repeat my exact ideas 5 minutes later to applause. I used to speak up. I stopped after he made me look crazy one too many times. During my birthday team meeting, Tyler replaced my presentation with a meme about low achievers. The room erupted in laughter. My face burned, my hands trembled under the conference table. I forced a smile because what else could I do? Making a scene would only prove I couldn't take a joke. Tyler leaned close and whispered, "Lighten up, cuz. People like you have to." People like me. He meant people he could walk over. People who smiled through humiliation. That was the first time I truly hated him. Not disliked, not resented, hated. It was a quiet, burning thing that settled in my bones. I went home that night and cried in my car for 20 minutes. Then I wiped my face, drove home, and promised myself I'd remember this feeling. Someday, somehow, Tyler would answer for every cruelty. When a project I built from scratch brought in 3 new clients, management congratulated Tyler. He accepted their praise with fake humility. "It was a team effort," he said, winking at me across the break room. Then he lifted his soda in a mock toast. "You'll get your turn someday, Hayley. Maybe." The other employees smiled. They thought it was encouragement. I knew better. It wasn't jealousy I felt in that moment. It was clarity. Tyler would always steal from me because no one stopped him. He'd learned he could take and take and take, and the world would reward him for it. I was invisible, a stepping stone, a prop in his success story. That realization should have crushed me. Instead, it made me sharper. I started keeping records, screenshots of emails, copies of my original work. I didn't know why yet. I just knew I needed proof. So when I scratched that ticket at the gas station and saw the numbers, when my vision blurred from shock and my hands started shaking, Tyler saw opportunity. We'd both bought tickets. His was a loser. Mine wasn't. For one perfect second, I felt pure joy. Then Tyler grabbed it, just reached over and snatched it from my fingers. I screamed. I slipped in a puddle chasing him. He laughed, actually laughed. I saw a thief showing his true nature, and the camera saw everything. I didn't chase him to his truck. I didn't scream again. I just stood there in the rain, soaking wet, and pulled out my phone. I filmed the blinking red security light above us. I filmed the timestamp on the gas pump. I filmed everything. My hands were steady. My mind was clear. Tyler thought he'd won, but I'd just started playing. The morning after, Tyler strutted into work like he owned the building. He whistled while making coffee. He flirted with the receptionist. He high-fived people in the hallway. He acted like a man who believed he'd gotten away with the perfect crime. My stomach twisted watching him, but not with fear, with anticipation. I knew something he didn't. I had footage. I had timestamps. I had witnesses who hadn't realized they were witnesses yet. Tyler was performing innocence, but performance only works when the audience doesn't know the truth. I kept my head down. I smiled when he passed my desk. I said good morning in the same tone I always used. He relaxed. I watched his shoulders drop, watched him settle into his false security. Perfect. Let him think he was safe. Let him think I'd accepted defeat like always. The higher his confidence climbed, the harder he'd fall. Rumours spread fast in our office. By noon, Tyler was bragging to the guys in inventory about something big happening soon. By 2 p.m., he was asking to leave early for a personal appointment. He thought he was being subtle. He wasn't. He was broadcasting guilt loud enough to hear from another planet. I overheard him on the phone in the parking lot. Yeah, I'll be there by 3. Just need to sign some paperwork. My heart hammered. He was already trying to claim the ticket. But lottery officials require ID. They require verification. They require the actual winner to be present. Tyler had stolen the ticket, but he couldn't steal my identity, not completely. I sat in my car and made a phone call of my own, to the gas station, to the manager, planting seeds, establishing a timeline, building my case, brick by brick. The gas station manager remembered us. Yeah, you and that guy were arguing, he said. He asked me to delete last night's footage this morning. My blood went cold. Did you? Silence, then. We only delete footage after 30 days, company policy. Relief flooded through me. Can I get a copy, I asked. He hesitated. Police would need a warrant, but if you file a report first, that might speed things up. I thanked him and drove straight to the police station. I filed a theft report. The officer looked skeptical until I showed him my phone video of the security camera. This happened last night, he asked. I nodded. And he's already trying to claim the prize? I nodded again. The officer's expression shifted. Mum, this might actually be fraud. That's a whole different level. He took my statement. He made calls. Tyler had no idea the walls were closing in. I returned to work the next day like nothing had happened. Tyler was jittery. He kept checking his phone. His knee bounced during meetings. He looked at me twice, trying to read my expression. I kept my face blank. Neutral. Unbothered. That scared him more than anger would have. Hey, Haley? He said during lunch. You good? I smiled. Never better. Why? He swallowed. No reason. You just seem quiet. I'm always quiet, Tyler. You know that. His jaw tightened. He wanted me to accuse him. He wanted the confrontation so he could gaslight me, make me seem irrational. But I gave him nothing. Just calm. Just patience. He left the break room looking rattled. I sipped my coffee and counted down the hours until his world collapsed. Soon. Very soon. Our supervisor, Mr. Dempsey, noticed the tension. Tyler tried to charm him with jokes and small talk. I simply worked harder. I stayed late. I finished projects early. I became invisible in the best way. Competent, reliable, present. Dempsey pulled me aside on Thursday. Is something going on between you and Tyler? He asked. I met his eyes. Yes, and it's all on camera. His eyebrows shot up. Camera? Security footage from the gas station, from our parking lot, from the office. I kept my voice steady. Tyler stole something valuable from me. I'm handling it through proper channels, but you should know he might not be here much longer. Dempsey's face shifted from confusion to concern. Should I be worried? Not about me, I said. But Tyler? Yes. You should be very worried about Tyler. I walked away, leaving him standing there, seeds planted everywhere now. Tyler barged into my cubicle on Friday morning. You need to stop making things weird, he hissed. You're embarrassing yourself. I didn't look up from my computer. How am I making things weird, Tyler? You know how. The looks, the attitude, just stop. I'm working, I said calmly. Same as always. I didn't take anything from you, he added too quickly. I hadn't mentioned the ticket, not once. Not to him, not to anyone at work. But he'd just admitted he knew what this was about. I finally looked at him. I never said you did. His face went pale, his mouth opened, then closed. Sweat beaded on his forehead. I just meant... You should get back to work, Tyler. Wouldn't want anyone thinking you're slacking. He stumbled backward, knocking into my chair. Then he fled. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Tyler went to HR that afternoon. I knew because Marlene, the HR rep, called me in right after. Tyler says you've been emotionally unstable lately, she said, watching me carefully. Classic narcissist deflection, accuse the victim first. Has something happened between you two? Marlene asked. Yes, I said simply. Did it happen at work? No, but it involves him, and I believe it shows his character. Marlene leaned forward. What happened, Hayley? I pulled out my phone. I showed her the timestamp from the gas station, the police report number, the security footage request form. Tyler stole a winning lottery ticket from me, $2.4 million. It's currently under investigation. Marlene's eyes widened. And you have proof? Multiple cameras, multiple witnesses, and his own confession. He just told me 10 minutes ago he didn't take anything, even though I never accused him of taking anything. Marlene sat back. I need to make some calls. By Monday, whispers filled the office. Someone had overheard Tyler's conversation with HR. Someone else had seen police at the gas station pulling footage. Tyler heard the whispers too. He got defensive, aggressive. He raised his voice at a coworker over nothing. He slammed his desk drawer. People pulled away from him like he was toxic. His downfall wasn't loud or dramatic. It was embarrassing. It was watching someone powerful become powerless in slow motion. He tried to regain control by throwing a small party at his desk, brought donuts, told jokes, but the room stayed cold. People made excuses to leave. His charm had expired. Everyone could smell the desperation. I watched from my cubicle, sipping tea, saying nothing. I didn't need to destroy Tyler. He was destroying himself beautifully. I just had to stay patient. Let the truth work. The lottery office called Tyler that Tuesday. I knew because I saw him answer. Then his face drained of colour. He went outside, paced the parking lot for 20 minutes, shouted into his phone. When he came back inside, his hands were shaking. Everything okay? A coworker asked. Fine, Tyler snapped. Everything's fine. But it wasn't. The lottery officials had found discrepancies. They'd seen the police report. They'd requested documentation Tyler couldn't provide, and they'd asked him to come in for an interview, with his ID, his receipt, and his story. Tyler had none of those things. The receipt was in my name. The ID was mine, and his story had more holes than Swiss cheese. I went to the bathroom and allowed myself one small smile. Then I washed my face, fixed my hair, and returned to work. Professional, patient, prepared. I had one more piece of footage Tyler didn't know about. The gas pump camera. Every pump has a separate surveillance system, different from the store's main cameras. I'd learned this from the manager, and that camera caught everything. Tyler grabbing the ticket from my hands, me screaming, him laughing, the exact moment he smirked before running, and the timestamp matched perfectly with my phone's recording of the security light. This footage was my nuclear option. I'd saved it for when Tyler tried his final desperate move. That moment came Wednesday afternoon when Tyler attempted to delete his social media history. Too late. I'd already screenshotted his brag posts about big changes coming and luck finally turning around. Digital footprints don't disappear just because you panic. Tyler was learning this lesson in real time, and it was destroying him. HR called us both in on Thursday. Tyler wore a suit. He'd prepared a speech. He had papers, explanations, justifications. Marlene listened patiently. Then she turned to me. Your turn, Hayley. I slid a tablet across the table. This is footage from the gas pump camera, time-stamped, showing Tyler physically taking the ticket from my hands while I screamed, "That's mine!" I pressed play. Tyler's face appeared on screen, crystal clear, grabbing, laughing, running. Tyler went white. His knee bounced uncontrollably, his hands gripped the chair arms. This is out of context," he whispered. "The context," I said calmly, "is that you committed theft and attempted fraud, and both are documented from 3 different camera angles." Marlene closed her folder. "Tyler, you're suspended pending investigation. Effective immediately." Security escorted him out 5 minutes later. The office watched in silence as Tyler was walked out. His face burned red with humiliation. He tried to hold his head high, but his hands shook. He looked at me through the conference room window. Not with anger, with shock. Like he genuinely couldn't believe I'd fought back, like he'd counted on me staying quiet forever. That look told me everything. Tyler had never seen me as a threat, just as someone to use, someone who'd take his abuse and smile. He'd been so wrong. I felt no joy watching him leave, no satisfaction, just tired relief. I'd spent years being small so Tyler could feel big. Now the truth had spoken, and Tyler had nothing left but consequences. Marlene touched my shoulder. "Take the rest of the day," she said. "You've been through enough." I nodded and quietly gathered my things. The lottery investigation concluded Friday morning. Tyler was barred from claiming the prize. The officials called me directly. "Miss Pierce, we've verified your purchase receipt, reviewed all footage, and confirmed your claim. The ticket is legally yours." I signed the paperwork in a daze. My hands shook, but not from nerves. From closure, from validation, from knowing I'd done this right. No revenge tactics. No dirty tricks. Just truth and patience. The money would arrive in my account within 10 business days. $2.4 million. Life-changing money. But what changed my life more was learning I could fight back. That staying silent wasn't strength. That proof mattered more than charm. Tyler lost everything. His reputation, his job, his credibility. Local news covered the case with the headline, "Family Fraud, When Greed Gets Ugly." His photo was everywhere. He couldn't show his face anywhere in town. Mr. Dempsey called me into his office the following Monday. I expected questions about Tyler. Instead, he said, "After everything I've seen, the work you do, the grace you kept during all this, we'd like to promote you to operations coordinator." My throat tightened. Tyler's old position? No, a new position. You've earned it on your own merit. My eyes burned with unexpected tears. I'd spent years watching Tyler get promoted for work I'd done. Now I was getting promoted for work Tyler couldn't steal, for character he couldn't fake. "Thank you," I whispered. "You start next month. 20% raise. Your own team." I shook his hand and walked back to my desk in a daze. This wasn't about the lottery money anymore. This was about finally being seen, about respect I'd earned by refusing to become what Tyler wanted, silent and small. Tyler tried texting me that night, a long paragraph about family bonds and second chances, how we'd grown up together, how family should forgive, how everyone makes mistakes. I read it twice, then I blocked his number without replying. Not out of anger, not to hurt him, but because I don't negotiate with thieves. I don't recycle toxic people. Tyler had shown me exactly who he was for years. I'd finally believed him. Blocking him was the easiest decision I'd made in months. My phone felt lighter immediately. My chest felt lighter. Some people think forgiveness means letting people back in. I learned forgiveness can also mean walking away, protecting yourself, refusing to let someone hurt you again. Tyler had lost his power over me, not because I destroyed him, but because I stopped letting him matter. With my lottery winnings, I bought a modest home, 3 bedrooms, quiet neighborhood, big backyard, nothing flashy, nothing that screamed I have money. I paid off my car. I paid off my student loans. I set up investments. I hired a financial advisor. I kept my job because I'd earned my promotion, and I wanted to prove I could succeed. Money changes things, but I didn't want it to change me. I'd watched Tyler's greed destroy him. I'd seen how desperation made him cruel. I refused that path. I stayed humble, stayed grateful, stayed focused on building something real, something Tyler couldn't steal, something that was mine because I'd earned it. Both the money through luck and my self-respect through patience and truth. For the first time in years, I slept through the night without anxiety. Tyler lost his job at Harrow Manufacturing. The investigation found he'd been taking credit for others' work for 3 years. Not just mine, others. 5 different employees came forward with evidence once they felt safe. Tyler wasn't just a bad cousin. He was a pattern, a systematic manipulator. He lost his apartment, moved back with his parents, couldn't find work because his fraud case came up in every background check. I heard this through mutual family members. They asked if I felt guilty. No, I said simply. Tyler made his choices, I just documented them. Some family members took his side, called me vindictive, said I ruined his life over money. I stopped attending family gatherings where they'd be. I built boundaries, protected my peace. Blood doesn't excuse abuse. Family doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. I learned this lesson at 29. I wished I'd learned it sooner. 6 months later, I ran into Tyler at a grocery store. He looked smaller somehow, tired, grey. He saw me and froze. I nodded politely and kept walking. He followed. "Hayley, wait." I stopped but didn't turn around. "I'm sorry," he said, "for everything. I was jealous. You were always smarter, better. I needed people to think I was worth something." I turned slowly. His eyes were red. Sincere, maybe. Too late. Definitely. You were worth something, Tyler, before you decided stealing was easier than working. I know that now. Good, I hope you build something real. I walked away. He didn't follow. That was the last time I saw him. I didn't feel satisfaction, just quiet closure. Tyler wasn't my villain anymore. He was just someone who'd taught me what I'd never become. That lesson was worth more than the lottery ticket. The moral of my story isn't about revenge. It's about patience, about documentation, about believing yourself when everyone else believes a liar. Tyler wasn't ruined by me. He was ruined by cameras, by truth, by his own arrogance. I didn't destroy him. I just refused to be destroyed. I learned the most liberating lesson of my life that year. You don't need to fight someone who's committed to destroying themselves. You just need to stand still, keep records, and let the truth speak. The cameras told the whole story, but I had to be brave enough to press play. I had to value myself enough to fight back. Now I live in a house I own. I work a job I earned. I sleep without fear. And Tyler, he lives with consequences he built brick by brick. That's not revenge, that's just math. Actions plus choices equals results. The cameras simply kept score.